There was a place called Goodwill Industries.
Since coming to Goodwill, I not only have gainful employment, I have gained much needed experience.
I think I'm going to have a great future here. I'll get a lot of experience, and I really like it. I enjoy my work very much.
This has given me a sense of respect and usefulness.
The roots of Goodwill Industries can be traced back to its founder, Reverend Edgar J. Helms, a man of uncommon character and conviction. Helms started the movement that would grow into Goodwill Industries, a movement transforming millions of lives through the course of a century. Edgar James Helms was born near Malone, New York in January of 1863. As a young man, he dreamed of studying law and tried his hand at newspaper publishing, but eventually felt called to the ministry. In the winter of 1889, the young Helms enrolled in Boston University Theological School. In 1892, Helms married Jean Preston, his childhood sweetheart. The couple was assigned to a mission in the struggling community of Boston's South End. It was the mission of Morgan Memorial Chapel, established a generation earlier by Henry Morgan. Helms immediately went to work caring for those in need. Helms also worked tirelessly to convert others to his cause.
Well, I think he was like many American entrepreneurs. The initial visionary person. There is always such a person at the beginning of something. It's a person who can gather the right people, a person who sees a problem, who can identify what will fix it, and who has the energy to fix it.
As the 19th century drew to a close, the Industrial Revolution brought thousands of people into U.S. cities. Goodwill, under Helms' direction, stepped up to help with jobs, training, and getting people the basics. Many people came to Helms in need of food and clothes. Helms took a burlap bag and went to Boston's wealthy citizens. Instead of asking for money, he asked for whatever clothing they could spare. Helms hired people in need, many of whom were considered unemployable, to repair damaged items. He priced used clothes fairly and invited the neighborhood back in. The Goodwill store was born. Although the name Goodwill Industries would not be coined until 1915, 1902 became known as the year Goodwill Industries was officially born. Instead of giving handouts, Goodwill Industries stressed that donated goods could be sold for profit, and that money would be used to pay workers who otherwise might not have jobs.
We had day workers, and we would pay them $4 $1 bills a day. And they'd go sign up for a department, maybe furniture repair. They'd go take furniture apart or whatever. In some cases, when there was not enough money, they'd get a $5 work for clothes.
As word of Goodwill's success spread, the Methodist Church provided the fledgling organization with funds to begin setting up Goodwill operations across the nation. By 1920, there were 15 Goodwill agencies in the United States, including Morgan Memorial in Boston. In subsequent years, ties to the Methodist Church gradually dissolved as Goodwill sought leaders from outside the ministry, and as federal funding opportunities in the United States made it necessary for Goodwill to become a more secular organization. Edgar James Helms was nearly 80 years old when he passed away on December 23, 1942. Times had changed, but Helms' vision to help those in need remained constant. When World War II ended, Goodwill welcomed wounded servicemen and cemented its commitment to training people with disabilities. And in the 1950s, Goodwill became a household name.
Goodwill, that's what this old world needs more of. Here you are.
The story you're about to see is told against the background of an organization known as Goodwill Industries.
Hi, this is Bob Hope, speaking to you about giving hope to the handicapped of Goodwill Industries.
Hello, this is Steve Allen.
Hi, I'm Phyllis Diller.
Hi, I'm Donna Reed.
Goodwill Industries can't use some things, big, unrepairable items, and little children.
An unbelievable assortment of items found its way onto Goodwill's conveyor belts.
We say soup bowls to nutcrackers, false teeth to tombstones. About everything.
In 1925, a group of concerned community leaders founded the Atlanta Goodwill for the purpose of helping local residents. Its first building was located on Edgewood Avenue, the heart of downtown Atlanta. By the late 1970s, Goodwill expanded into new communities with stores in Atlanta's West End, as well as Decatur and Stone Mountain. The organization opened its doors to anyone with a willingness to work. On the surface, Goodwill clients seemed to have little in common. They were men and women from all ethnic groups and backgrounds. Some had mental or physical disabilities, while others were economically disadvantaged. Still, the Atlanta nonprofit struggled financially and almost shut down its retail operations.
The board had decided to get out of the donated goods business. I thought that maybe we ought to reconsider. I then met with Don Roberts, CEO of Sarasota Goodwill, a gentleman that is very knowledgeable and very successful in the donated goods program. And he informed me that it would be a big mistake to get out of the donated goods. So with that, I was convinced that this was not the way to go. The board reconsidered, and we stayed in the donated goods business.
Over the years, Goodwill has continually reinvented itself to serve different segments of society. In the 1980s, Goodwill began providing janitorial services in commercial and government offices across the region. Its first contract was at the Atlanta branch of the Internal Revenue Service. In addition to revenue, this new business line allowed the organization to provide job opportunities to people with disabilities by hiring them to clean the buildings. 2 mergers allowed Goodwill to gain additional counties in the North Georgia area and now provide services to 45 counties. The expansion was led by its president, Raymond Bishop.
Today, we're a 21st century version of what Reverend Helms gave us at the beginning of the 20th century, more than 100 years ago. And the concept's basically the same. You donate clothing and household items. We sell those in our stores. We create jobs. We turn those into dollars that help support our mission, which is to put people to work.
Under Bishop's direction, Goodwill stores have flourished, and so have other lines of Goodwill business. While Goodwill has shown its ability to meet the needs of business, its focus remains on meeting the needs of people, creating training programs that lead its graduates not just to jobs, but to careers.
There isn't much dignity in giving someone a handout, but when someone has a job, they can make their own decisions, how they spend their money, where they want to live, what kind of food they want to buy, what kind of clothes they want to buy for themselves and their children. So Goodwill is all about jobs and training for jobs, job opportunities.
Today, in a variety of positions, from the donor door to career centers to human resources, Goodwill employees are making the mission come alive. In 2012, the organization hit an historic first. Goodwill helped more than 10,000 North Georgians find jobs. And that number continues to climb each year.
Employees are essential to the execution of everything we do at Goodwill. We put people to work. And to do that requires great team members all across our organization. Today, we have more than 2,800 employees in our organization, and sometime in the future that number will be much bigger. But always the success will come because of the employees that work at Goodwill and help us move our mission forward.
What it means to me to work for Goodwill is I get a chance to not only show my skills on a day-to-day basis, but I get a chance to help people. And so that means a lot.
To me, it just means that it's an awesome place to work. It has an awesome legacy. I mean, people, especially now, are getting to know more about what Goodwill does and helping people and helping the community. And it's not just a store where people can go buy used items. It's a place where it really does help people go to work, not even just the store employees, but again, veterans, people with disabilities, different skills programs. They just offer so much that it's just an amazing place to work for our community.
To be working for Goodwill, it makes me feel proud. Just to see somebody smile, then you accept their donation.
And I'm just thankful that Goodwill is the type of organization that they are. Their mission, you know, put people to work. They change lives, and they changed my life. Because when I came here, I was 54 years old. Don't too many people start their life over at 54, so Goodwill gave me a second chance. So I just like, I'm very grateful and very humble.
I think that I would really say thank you for having the heart, the foresight to see and to employ people who needed employment. You created jobs for people. You also created a means by which people could come and buy things that they needed, again, at an affordable rate. And we're still doing it, so it's a good idea.
Thank you. I would tell them thank you for seeing a vision. Thank you for stepping outside the box. At that time, Dr. Helms did something that nobody else was doing. The poor were the poor, the rich were the rich, and you fit wherever you fit. So I would definitely say thank you, because without his vision, I don't even know where I would be. So I would say thank you.
Thanks. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm not a big speech guy. I just say thanks. You know, you've done a good thing, and it's always better to help someone else than help yourself.
I think I would say you're on the right track. Good job, because I can't believe that we've been here for 90 years. How many other companies, how many other organizations are still around after 90 years? We're like Coca-Cola of the nonprofits. And that makes it so nice, because everything they've done, I want to say thank you for doing it. Thank you for setting it up right. We're continuing your legacy. Don't be discouraged. This is going to work.
Thank you. That's about sums it up, because I wouldn't have the life I have if I hadn't got the job at Goodwill.
Today we're serving more people than ever before. You're going to hear some inspirational stories from individuals who've gone through a Goodwill training program or found a job through a Goodwill service. Tens of thousands of families have been affected by Goodwill services in recent years. Let's hear from them now.
Well, Goodwill has helped me a lot. I was working full-time third shift, and I wasn't able to see my kids that much. So Goodwill actually helped me spend more time with my kids. I'm working in the pediatrics practice. I get to interpret, do receptionist jobs. I like greeting people, interactive with people.
I love working with people because of just being able to serve them and putting a smile on their face. It brightens my day to go that I put a smile on their face and they're wanting to come back. But I love it because one thing is I'm letting people know we're also putting people to work, but they help put me to work too.
The way I obtained the job at GDOT, Georgia Department of Transportation, I followed up with my job counselor at Goodwill. I filled out an application. It was a very smooth process because Goodwill, they put you hands-on with a government facility, and mine happened to be GDOT. Now I'm able to afford a 3-bedroom townhouse, wall-to-wall carpet, washing machine and dryer, all of the perks and amenities. I love it.
I actually have referred friends to the Goodwill program because I think it's one of the best programs out there. Actually, I have tried a lot of veteran programs, and Goodwill is the one that worked for me the most. It puts you in a position where you have a sense of pride about yourself again, and it actually allows you to show skills that you already have because they embrace veterans there, and I think that's a great thing.
I've been on a long journey. I've been in counseling since I was 5. So
There's always been that in my life. But in the last few years, because of all of the work that I've done, I've come out through the other side of the tunnel. I know that it's possible. I know that it takes a lot of work to get there. And it takes a lot of self-control. I came to my job through Voc Rehab and Goodwill. So last year and this year both, we've gone back to Voc Rehab and we've gotten people through them and done really well with the people that we have.
When you fall down, you got to be able to get back up. And what I mean by that, the good transition was a blessing to me. I have 6 children, 5 boys, 1 girl, and they need everything that I take in. So the program that Goodwill brought to me is basically another outlet to job searches and people that know people, connections, because in this world you do need connections to basically gain employment. If it's just so hard, so much competition out there. People with master's degrees, people with plenty of degrees are looking for jobs as well. And if I have the upper hand with knowing somebody at the employment or a site that I'm trying to gain employment at, it's good to have that network with Goodwill because they know and have connections that I don't have.
Before I even heard about the Goodwill program, I was lost and trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, the next step. So when that came along, I was like, hey, I like being outside. I like learning how to build things. I like learning how things work. So I think it was an act of God that put the Goodwill program in my path. And it's been great. I mean, it's been wonderful for me. The most rewarding part of the experience for me was to come out with all the certifications and stuff that we come out with: first aid and CPR, flagging certifications, construction certifications. It was good. I come out with that, and if I was to go and say I wanted to build a house, I could, and somebody would say, no, you can't. I say, yes, I can. Here's my certification for that. And, you know, I just have a lot of different experiences.